Okay, good. Hi. Okay, it's Robin. We're just going to study with our case study number 6 today, and welcome. Okay. So this is a Leo lady, Leo, July 25th, 1959, Toronto. Okay. So let me just glance at the chart for a second. We see the Sun in Leo, first house, Aries moon, and the Cancer ascendant. So we see the first, the Sun, moon, and ascendant sign. We see the pattern type is going to be the bucket with the moon and the handle, and the moon phase is going to be the waning gibbous phase. So the moon's coming back to the sun. So, okay, so we're going to go through the point system first, and then we're going to come back and work on the chart. Okay, so here we go. Bucket type, the moon is the handle. So we have the bucket. In fact, I'm just going to put our chart over here so we have it consistently to look at. Okay, so she's the bucket type, but the moon is the handle. The moon's above the horizon, everything else is below. So this focuses, everything's personal, everything in the personal subjective world, but it's focused on the need, on the moon's needs up in the 10th house. And the need to accomplish, the need to have authority, the need to prove things, the need to be Aries, need to do, I can do that, I can make that happen, I can accomplish this, I can do that, I need to do that. That's tied up to this moon. So moon's going to be important here. It's focused, it's really at the peak, at the highest, most elevated planet, to handle the bucket. So, and the bucket takes all its personal energy and pours all that energy out to the other side, to that one handle. Like the bowl throws everything idealistically across, but the bucket has a handle, so it throws it out there by the, it's not as idealistic, a little more practical. It's just along the lines of least resistance. Here's the way to go. I need to have a job, I need to have work, I need to accomplish things, I need to have authority. Don't tell me how to live. And it's in Aries, you know, so that's somewhat competitive there. Okay, so and yeah, we'll get to the aspects to it later. We see the bucket type focusing on the moon. We see the waning gibbous moon phase. So it's just past the full moon, past an awareness. There's a tendency to be adjusting, going into the greater darkness, what I need to do, how I need to fit in, what I need to accomplish. It's what I need to accomplish for the moon up high in terms of what I need to do to be involved, to be more involved, to be more responsible, the darkness increasing side, the waning side of the moon. Okay. Now, all of these interpretations are based on the fact that this is the culmination of putting things together. It's based on the fact that you've already spent time doing the natal chart and working it. This is just a review and it's coming up fast. So the transit too, you've already worked the transits to work them through and watch them through to get a sense of them. And with the progressions especially, you've already done all the individual progressions and worked all those things through and got a sense of the progress timing going on. And this is how you're putting the different strands together. It's not like this is what you do and you could ignore all the rest. That would be, you would be missing a lot. So the 30 steps to interpret a chart, that's we still holding basically to that a little bit more loosely for the webinar. We did it exactly, we've done this chart exactly with each factor. So every chart you do, it's not just, oh, I do this, I'm going to look at this. No, you do this, you go through these steps, but you work it. You got to take the time and go through these steps. And I'm doing it as kind of a review and a sort of quicker thing for the webinar. So the sun is in Leo, the moon's in Aries, the Cancer rising. So the Cancer rising plays into the moon. The identity plays into the moon, but this is fire and water. There's not air or earth here. There's a need to do, to act, and to feel okay about what you're doing. That's what it's cardinal and fixed. It's not very adaptable, but it's driving, assertive. Fire and earth, for earth, it's all daylight is greater. Me, what I'm doing. Okay, so but Okay, so we have the strong Leo with the Aries moon, active, dynamic, playful, let's do this, likes a challenge, likes to win, but a Cancer ascendant that takes things personally, has a personal, sensitive side inside of that. Okay. That's enough. We're going to just getting the first impression how you would meet this person. This is not, you're not going to meet the practical earthy side. You're going to meet the doer. You might meet the sensitive personal side, but you're not going to see the practical or the most communicative side. This person that actions will speak more than words will. Okay, so, we look at the points. 2 points I am, that's the Aries moon. 1 point I feel, Cancer rising. 4 points I will, that's the Sun and Mercury and Uranus in Leo. So I will is really strong. I analyze, Virgo, 3 points of Virgo. I analyze, 2 points and I desire, 1 point I use, 1 point I believe. So I will analyze, and I am doing it. You can see I will do this. I analyze the best way to do it, and I am doing this. That's kind of the strength of this. So these are just little guides, but each little thing, they just add a little layer, a little click in. And daylight increasing, 4. Darkness increasing, 10. So the momentum is towards being involved with others, being responsible, taking on commitments, moving into the increasing darkness. That's the Cancer up to Sag, the increasing dark half. It's only the Moon and Saturn on the Moon, Saturn, and the ascendant. The Moon, Saturn, Moon, Saturn, and the midheaven are on the nighttime daylight increasing half. But that's still a strong half because of the Moon being so strongly accentuated. Here, 10 points daylight is greater, 4 points darkness. So there's a need to belong and be part of things, to be responsible, to be involved, to deal with commitments at the darkness increasing. But there's a need to do it my way. 10 points greater, daylight is greater, Leo, Aries, Cancer, my way. Okay, so you have that. Then cardinal fixed mutable is fairly even. There's a stronger fixed element, but 6 points, 4 and 4 mutable. So the other, all the modes are there, just with a little more determination, a little more fixity and determination, a little more of that Leo will to win or to be best. The seasons 2, 2, 8, 2. So all the seasons are even except the summer is really power packed. The summer is always going to be the most active, dynamic time. Everything's biggest things are going to happen across the summertime. It's not like big aspects don't happen at other times, but just generally each year, that's the high time. With the elements, 6 fire, 0 air, 4 earth, 4 water. So there is some earth, water, security, practical sides of earth, 0 air, 6 fire. So it's not strong on communication or expressing this mentally. It's stronger on doing, on acting, on being fire, on burning and making things happen. Okay, so not having the air doesn't mean you still have a Mercury, you still communicate, you still think, you still have all these things. It's just her predominating element is the fire of doing more than it is the rational of thinking. Okay, that doesn't mean she can't think, and that if she gets some thoughts, she's going to act on them strongly. So it's just not the tendency to communicate so much, quicker to act than to talk about it. Masculine, feminine, 6 masculine, 8 feminine. That's fairly even balance, a little bit more reflective qualities, but you don't see it in the sun and the moon. It's in all the other planets that pile up like that. So the Cancer, the Virgo, the Scorpio, the Capricorn, yeah. So, and the angles, they all tend to, there's a lot of other planets with the sun, moon. That's fine. That's builds up the masculine. Sun, moon. What adds to it, the Mercury and Uranus. Yeah. So, okay. So when we look at the sun rules 4 planets. But really, and the moon rules 1, Mercury rules 3, Venus nothing, Mars rules 4. So the sun and Mars are the 2 most powerful rulers. But look at the chart. Saturn's in Capricorn, so it rules. It's standing ruling itself. It rules the descendant. There's nothing else. Capricorn, of course, is standing there. It's one. It's a ruler in itself, authority, accomplishment in the sixth house. But her sun is in Leo, the ruler. It rules Leo. It's going to rule Mercury and Uranus in Leo. Of course, the Mars, Venus, and Pluto in Virgo is going to be ruled by the Mercury, which is ruled by the sun. And since the Mars is ruled by the sun, anything in Scorpio, the Jupiter and Neptune, and in Aries, the moon is going to come under the rulership of the Mars. And the sun is ruled by the moon, so the sun is really a really predominant factor. With Mars, the sun is at the top of the rulership tree. And then the Mars is, because the sun rules Mercury and Mercury rules Mars, and like that's the rulership tree. So you have the sun is really important. Her confidence, her pride, her ability to win, to be best. That's going to affect everything. If her confidence is up, everything's going to be energized. If her confidence is down, whew, all the other things will be affected by that. Same way with the Saturn in Capricorn, it rules itself, and there's nothing else affecting it. So it's her sense of authority is strong on itself, but it stands as its own. Okay. We're going to look at the houses. We want to try and remember how it is with the signs. When we go through 2 identity, first has 2 values, 3 expressions. So she has a lot of points in that first quadrant. 2, 2, 3. 1 in security, 1 in performance, 1 in duty, 2 in honor. Honor and honor. That's like your 10th house. That's the honor, the expression, the values, identity. So here's expression. That's you can't say, even though she has a lack of error, it's not that she's not expressive or communicating herself. How to communicate. It's a strong factor in the houses. It's not. So when you come look at the rising 9, setting 3. So with the signs, we had daylight increasing 4 and darkness increasing 4. Here, the rising, the instigating, the projecting, the setting things up, that's the rising, that's more effective. So even though by attitude, the nighttime increasing is greater by signs, and she needs to belong, she's going to be pushing and projecting to make it happen, to impress other people, to make things happen, to accomplish things, to influence. And that's a strong, and her projecting, that's her sunrise and the planets rising. Above the horizon 2 and 10 below. This is the funny thing, the strange thing. Well, her emphasis, like even though it's with the signs, it was 10 daylight greater, 4 darkness greater. So 10 daylight greater is I'm doing my own thing, I'm being my own way. The 10 below the horizon saying I'm going to live the way I want to live. I want to live my own lifestyle. My personal world is what's important. You know, like what I believe, what I know, my kids, my family, my home, these are important things. The subjective world is where all of her energy is, most of her energy, except for that moon up in the 10th house. So we'll get to this in a minute, but the moon is the one focused out above the horizon. So here, the need for the lifestyle and how to live is really important. Okay, and based on how one wants to live, it's going to determine how she has to live, what she has to do.